Absolutely. I mean, we have had high inflation and we have a recession, even though it's mild at the same time. I mean, and as you know, when you have a recession, you want to have expansionary budgets and do a lot to get the wheel spinning again. But now we have hold quite tight, so that the battle of inflation is absolutely the most important battle. And now it's getting down. And I hope soon we will won over inflation, so we can do other things too, of course.
I've got to be honest with you, the Riksbank was very slow to the inflationary party, like a lot of central banks. And I remember looking at their forecast a couple of years ago of 0.0 inflation going forward. And I was like, this can't be right. That's not what I'm seeing in Sweden as well. And then they moved aggressively. But how quickly, given what you've just said about inflation, can the Riksbank move to the downside? I know they're independent, but I mean, it would help the economy.
I mean, the Riksbank, yes, but I mean, other central bankers haven't had really right during the past 2 years. I mean, sure. I remember the autumn 21, and I thought, you know, when the inflation was starting to get up, and everyone said this is just temporary, it will go down. Then we had the war, it continued. And many had wrong. Yeah. But now I think most of us, different forecasters, see that it will come down over. But still there are threats. I mean, you see what happens in the Middle East or Suez Canal and the Red Sea. So it's a lot of risks still.
And we've spoken to 4 or 5 central bankers and from the most hawkish like Robert Holtzmann in Austria. It's very difficult to see how the central bankers can move given those external risks as well. OK, so let's concentrate on what you can do fiscally. Yeah. You've already said you're holding a tight rein on finances. You don't have a huge amount of leeway on your fiscal budget, do you? No,
we have a framework. It's a good framework that makes our public finance good. And it's been important for me to not be expansionary, because I know that inflation is the work is the worst enemy. I mean, it's the society's worst enemy. So even though we are it's not a very constraining budget. It's like a neutral budget, but we have supported, of course, household. So we have actually cut taxes. We have done things to make it easier for households, of course. But now when coming down, I'm happy. It's come down because many people have. It's difficult. High mortgage. The Swedish households have high mortgages and adjustable rates, so it has been really tough for many.
Yeah, it's what they call in Davos terms like an omni crisis or plenty crisis, because there are so many different things happening. I mean, the housing market's had such a long run to the upside, especially in key conurbations, Gothenburg, down in Malmo, Stockholm. It's everywhere. Yeah,
but I mean, the economy is one thing, and we have a challenge. But I mean, we have other big challenges in Sweden. We have a war close to us, which we are engaged in. We will help Ukraine as much as we can. And we also have internally high criminality. And for years now, the gang criminality has just taken over in many ways. And we see 13, 14-year-old kids shoot other 14 kids, and the 18-year-olds tell them to do that. And I mean, it's just absolutely terrible. And I think it's like an emergency. So that's probably the absolute most important challenge we have to deal with.
What can, Mr. Kristersson, what can you do about that, the criminality? Because a lot of Swedes point the finger, and it's partly why your government came to power, at the fact that Sweden, more than almost any country in Europe, allowed in so many immigrants because it was doing a humanitarian good. But it lets so many people in, and there's been real questions about the integration of so many people from the Middle East and elsewhere into Swedish society. What can you do?
Absolutely. I mean, we have had a high immigration, and that we changed that now. But also we change laws. We make it tougher to be criminal. We very rapidly we put new legislation on the table to make it more difficult to be a criminal. And from my point of view, I mean, the criminal economy is huge, and they use all different types of things to betray the system. The Swedish system is very much built on trust from decades, and now maybe at this stage it's too naive to have that kind of system, unfortunately. So we have to try to make it very difficult, and I don't know, I don't find the word, but stop the economy, and then it will be more difficult to be criminal.
Yeah.